যে একবার চোখে দিলে আপনি এটার প্রেমে পড়ে যেতে বাধ্য হন। আমার হাতে कुछ बातें खोना है, कुछ खो कर पाना है, जीवन का मतलब तो आना है, जाना तो पल के जीवन से चुरानी है जिंदगी और तेरी मेरी कहानी है एक प्यार का नाम है जलती जवानी जिंदगी और कुछ भी नहीं तेरी मेरी कहानी है प्यार का नाम चल वो चौबारे ढूंढे जिनमें चाहत की बूंदें सच कर दे सपनों को सभी आँखों को पीछे नीचे मैं तेरे पीछे पीछे चल दूँ जो कह दे तू अभी पहाड़ों की छत हो दुआओं के खत हो पढ़ते रहे ये नजर पलक तक चल साथ मेरे पलक तक चल साथ चल पलक तक चल साथ मेरे पलक तक चल साथ चल साथिया कर चली गई बादल भी गरज कर बरस गए बरसातिया कर चली गई बादल भी बरस गए बरस की एक झलक को हम सुन के मालिक तरस गए अब प्यास बुझेगी आँखों की दिन रात ये दुखड़ा रहता है मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा रह तेरी बात हो रही है भाई मेरे सामने वाली खिड़की में एक चांद का टुकड़ा रहता है अफसोस ये कि वो हमसे कुछ टुकड़ा रहता है
Migrating to Hostinger was incredibly easy, incredibly simple, and so streamlined.
Yeah, I can't get the internet working on anything.
Okay, let's start with your router. How many lights do you see currently?
Our high-quality conversational agents provide resolutions with low latency and the highest accuracy, touch. Integrate complex agentic workflows that take real actions, all thoroughly tested with your infrastructure.
अच्छा, आंखें बंद, लंबा सांस, रिलैक्स और सुनो अब जो बदला हूँ सबका बदला है तुम भी ऐसे रुकना नहीं ये जो गम है ये नहीं सब है फिर मिलती है खुशियाँ भी चलो उठो हार न मानो मायूसी तो अच्छी नहीं डरना नहीं है
देंगे शुक्रिया जिंदगी तुम आज हिम्मती है स्माइल इसी दिसंबर में चलो दूर कहीं चलो दूर कहीं कहीं कुछ भी यही जहाँ नहीं कोई सुकून है वही अफसानों में भी कहानी ऐसी नहीं जब जब तुम सांस लो जी लूं मैं जिंदगी दुनिया जहाँ की बात तुमसे कह दूं दिल की बात में लफ्ज खो दूं मिल जाए नजरें आँखों से मैं ये कह दूं बात करना घबराहट ना जाना छोड़ो दुनिया को तुम हो जाए गुमसुम हाजिर हूँ मैं तुम्हारा ही हूँ मैं छोड़ो दुनिया को हो जाए इस दिसंबर में मैं सताऊंगा आंखें तरसेंगी तब याद आऊंगा ना वो हासे ना वो बातें हैं बस यादों में अब मुलाकातें हैं ना वो हासे हैं ना वो बातें बस यादें ही अपनी कमाई है इन किताबों में जी नहीं लगता वो सजनी की खास याद आई है भीगा भीगा सा भीगा भीगा सा तेरे भीगी भीगी सी तन्हाई है किताबों में जी नहीं लगता नॉवल हमको सजनी की खास याद आई भीगा भीगा सा ये रस्म चलो भाई 3 2 1 हम क्या करेंगे
Active.
छोड़ो दुनिया हो जाए सांस लो.
English Learning Podcast for daily life, real conversation, and easy listening. Welcome to English Learning Podcast for daily life, real conversation, and easy listening practice.
It's great to be here.
I am absolutely pumped to be here today because honestly, we are usually talking about learning a language, right? Like how to say hello, how to order a sandwich. But today
Today's different.
Today is different. Today we aren't talking about learning. We are talking about mastering. We're talking about a total transformation.
That's right. And you were absolutely spot on with that distinction. We're looking at the difference between just, surviving in a language.
Just keeping your head above water.
Exactly. Keeping your head above water versus actually thriving in it, dominating it.
Exactly. We're looking at that frustrating, often invisible wall that so many people hit. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I do. The plateau.
The plateau. You've been studying for a while. You've got your apps. You order a coffee. You can check into a hotel. Maybe even have a little polite chat about the weather.
You feel like you're making progress.
You feel good. You feel confident. But then you turn on a movie without subtitles, or you walk into a crowded pub with a group of native speakers, or you try to listen to a university lecture and suddenly
It's like the floor drops out from under you.
it's like you've been hit by a truck. You stand, nothing.
It's the classic B1 plateau.
Mhm.
And it is heartbreaking, really. In the world of linguistics, we talk about this gap between the B1 learner and the C1 learner. And I think people underestimate just how massive that leap is.
It's not just about learning more words, is it?
Oh, not at all. It's not just more words. It's a completely different brain state, a different way of processing the world.
So for everyone listening, and I know we have a mix of levels here, let's just, define the players. Who exactly is this B1 learner we're talking about?
The B1 learner is what we call the independent user. And I think a great way to think about it is a tourist who is really, really good at being a tourist.
Okay, I like that.
They can handle most situations that come up while traveling. They can describe experiences, dreams, hopes, ambitions. They can give brief reasons for their opinion.
I like the movie because it was funny, that kind of thing.
Precisely. It is functional, it works, you won't starve. But it lacks nuance, it lacks depth.
Right, it's the I'm fine, thanks, and you level of English. So the C1 learner, that's the holy grail we are chasing today.
The C1 learner is the proficient user. This is where the magic really happens. A C1 learner understands a wide range of demanding, longer texts, and crucially, recognizes implicit meaning.
Implicit meaning, that's a huge phrase.
It's everything. It means they can express themselves fluently and spontaneously without much obvious searching for expressions. They can use the language flexibly, effectively, for social, academic, and professional purposes.
So they don't just hear the words someone is saying.
No, they hear the attitude, they hear the sarcasm, the hesitation, the joke behind the joke.
They're hearing what isn't being said.
Exactly. And today, we are going to break down exactly how you bridge that gap. We have combed through a mountain of research, expert strategies, and really high-level instructional material to bring you what we are calling the 7 golden strategies to go from B1 to C1.
And these aren't just your standard tips, are they?
No, I want to be really clear about that. These aren't study your flashcards more. These are psychological shifts and tactical habits that literally change how your brain processes sound.
Okay, before we dive into number 1, I want to give you a little motivation, a little bit of a mission for today. Don't just listen to this conversation passively while you're, doing the dishes or driving.
You can, but you'll get more out of it if you're active.
Exactly. To really make this stick, you need to take these concepts and actually practice them. Grab a partner. Or if you don't have a partner, and let's be honest, scheduling can be a total nightmare grab in AI.
That's a great point. I mean, the technology we have now is just incredible. You can simulate the kind of high-pressure conversations we're about to discuss with an AI partner.
You really can.
You have to solidify those neural pathways by actually doing, not just listening. Knowledge is, it's potential power, but practice is actual power.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to deconstruct the habits that separate the average from the exceptional. We have 7 strategies, and strategy number 1, it's going to hurt a little bit, isn't it?
It might hurt a lot,
Yeah.
but it's necessary pain. The good kind of pain.
I like that, the good kind of pain. Before we get to that, though, I just want to jump in here quickly. We're about 5 minutes in, and if you are already feeling the vibe of this deep dive, if you are ready to make that jump to C1,
And we know you are.
please take a second to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us out, and it helps other learners find this content so we can keep bringing you these deep dives.
Absolutely. We really appreciate you being here.
All right. Strategy number 1. This is built around a very intense, almost military principle, we call it. The train hard, fight easy immersion principle.
This is foundational. It's the bedrock. The problem with the B1 learner, and it's not their fault, really, is that they have usually been spoiled by their learning environments.
Spoiled? That sounds a little harsh.
It is harsh, but it's true. Think about your typical English classroom or your favorite YouTube learning channel. The teacher speaks slowly.
Very slowly.
They enunciate every single syllable. They face the camera with perfect lighting. And critically, they repeat themselves. Open your books to page 10. Page 10, everyone. Please open your books to page 10.
Oh, totally. I feel safe just listening to you do that. It's warm and fuzzy. It's comfortable.
Exactly. It's like a parent holding a child's hand while they learn to walk. They want you to understand, so they make it easy. But here's the problem. The real world is not a classroom.
Not even close.
The real world is a messy, noisy, fast-paced place. If you only train in that safe zone, the wild zone will eat you alive.
So the train hard, fight easy concept, this comes from the military, right?
It does, yeah. The SAS, the Navy SEALs, they all use this philosophy. The idea is that your training should be significantly harder than the actual battle will ever be.
So you over prepare.
Massively.
Yeah.
If you're training in perfect, clean conditions, the moment you hit the chaos of reality, stress, noise, confusion, you freeze up. But if you train in chaos, reality feels, well, it feels slow. It feels manageable.
So for a language learner, what does training hard actually look like? Because I assume it doesn't involve doing push-ups in the mud while someone shouts grammar rules at you.
No, not quite. It means you have to stop listening to materials designed for learners. Full stop. You have to move into the wild.
Wild.
You need to be listening to native speakers talking to other native speakers. Not talking to you, the learner, but talking to each other.
That's such a key distinction because when I talk to someone who I know is a learner, I subconsciously simplify my vocabulary. I slow down. I nod a lot. I smile.
You're helping them.
But when I talk to you, my friend, I'm using slang. I'm probably interrupting you. I'm mumbling. I might be looking at my phone.
Exactly. And that is the C1 environment. That's the wild. You need to expose yourself to podcasts on history, science, health topics you actually care about, where the speakers are debating, laughing over each other, using complex arguments.
Right.
Because if you can understand a heated debate between 4 people on a political podcast where everyone is shouting and using idioms, a standard job interview is going to feel like a walk in the park.
It's like swinging a baseball bat with a weight on it. When you finally take the weight off, the bat feels incredibly light.
That's the perfect analogy.
But I have to play devil's advocate here. If I'm a B1 learner and I turn on a podcast about, I don't know, quantum physics or 18th century French politics, and I understand basically nothing, isn't that just discouraging? I just want to quit.
That is the danger, yes. And that is the necessary pain we talked about. But that feeling of I don't understand is actually growing pains.
Yeah.
You have to learn to embrace the ambiguity.
Embrace the ambiguity.
You aren't supposed to understand 100% yet. That's the point. But if you go back to the safe stuff, you are just spinning your wheels.
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Comfortable being uncomfortable. I like that a lot. Now, inside this strategy, there's a specific rule you mentioned that I think is going to terrify some people, the one-time rule.
Ah, yes, the one-time rule. This is where we take away your safety blanket.
Tell them what it is. I want to see the fear in their eyes.
It is very, very simple. When you are practicing listening, you play the audio once, you commit to an answer or an understanding, and that's it.
No rewinding.
You do not get to rewind 5 times to catch that one word you missed.
Oh man, I can feel the anxiety rising just hearing that. I am a chronic rewinder. What did he say? Rewind. What did he say? Rewind.
And that is precisely why so many people struggle in real conversations. Because in real life, at an airport, in a business meeting, on a first date, people do not have a rewind button. If you're standing at a gate in an airport and the announcer says, "Attention passengers," the gate for flight 202 has now changed to 4B, and you were checking Instagram.
The plane leaves without you.
The plane leaves without you. The pilot doesn't come on the intercom and say, "We are now landing." I repeat, for the B1 learners, we are landing. Please listen
Right.
carefully. We are now landing.
Right.
So when you are practicing, you have to simulate this pressure. It forces your brain to pay attention in a fundamentally different way.
How so? What does it do to your brain?
Well, if your brain knows it has a safety net, I can just rewind if I miss it. It relaxes, it gets lazy, it starts to zone out.
It's like knowing the answers are at the back of the book. You don't try as hard to solve the math problem yourself.
Precisely. But if your brain knows, I have one shot to get this information, it sharpens its focus, it recruits more cognitive resources, it floods the system with a little bit of adrenaline and Sochus chemicals. You actually hear better because the stakes are higher.
So stop rewinding, stop pampering your brain. Treat every single listening session like it's a live one-time event. That is huge.
It is the only way to build the resilience you need for C1.
Okay, that leads us perfectly into strategy number 2. Because let's say I accept your challenge, I put on the hard podcast, I promise not to rewind, but then 5 minutes in, my brain just melts. I physically can't keep up. My attention just disappears.
And that brings us to strategy 2, building the listening muscle, stamina and focus.
This is what you call the 30-minute wall.
Yes, this addresses a very, very common failure point. I see this all the time. A learner has great vocabulary. They know their grammar rules perfectly.
Yeah.
But they put on a 30-minute lecture or a movie, and after 5 or 6 minutes, they crash.
They zone out. They start thinking about what their sounds, but the meaning just stops entering the brain.
Exactly. And the learner thinks, oh no, my English is bad. My vocabulary isn't good enough. But it's not a knowledge failure. It is a stamina failure.
A stamina failure.
Listening is a muscle. It requires massive amounts of glucose and energy. And many B1 learners simply lack the cognitive stamina to maintain that high-level focus for 30 minutes straight.
It's like asking someone who jogs around the block once a week to suddenly run a marathon. You can't just decide to train for it.
That's the analogy we always use. A marathon is what, 26 miles? You don't show up on race day and run the full distance.
Oh, right.
You start with 5 minutes of intense, unbroken focus.
Unbroken is the key word there.
Yes, no phone checking, no multitasking, no looking out the window, just 5 minutes of pure, painful listening. The next day you push it to 7 minutes, then 10. You gradually build up to that 30 minute your brain to hold on to that thread of language for longer periods.
But let's talk about what kills that stamina, because we live in a world that feels like it's designed to destroy our attention spans.
It absolutely is. We call these the focus thieves. And in our modern world, the biggest enemies of C1 listening are, without doubt, social media and the 24-hour news cycle.
Oh, interesting. So my doom scrolling on Twitter is actually hurting my English listening stamina.
It is absolutely destroying it.
Yeah.
These apps are engineered to fracture your attention. They train your brain to engage with something for 15 seconds, get a little dopamine hit, and then swipe.
15 seconds, swipe. Another 15 seconds, swipe.
That is the opposite of deep listening. Deep listening requires you to hold a single thought, a single argument, for 10, 20, 30 minutes.
That makes so much sense. If your brain is trained for 15-second sprints all day, a 30-minute lecture is going to feel like absolute torture.
It's an impossible task. We see high-level learners when they are in an intensive study period. They will often delete these apps entirely,
Really, just delete them.
or they'll stop watching the news. They do it to protect their cognitive battery.
The cognitive battery. I like that. So if your battery is drained by scrolling through videos of cats and political arguments, you don't have the juice left to decode complex English.
Precisely. And to recharge that battery, we actually recommend something that sounds a bit woo-woo to some people, but the science completely backs it up. Meditation.
Meditation for learning English.
Yes. Using meditation, even just 5 or 10 minutes, to reset the brain between study blocks can drastically improve your overall cognitive ability.
How does that work?
It clears the cache, so to speak. It trains your brain to focus on one single thing, your breath, which is exactly the skill you need to focus on one single thing, the voice speaking English.
So delete TikTok, meditate for 10 minutes, and then try your 30-minute deep listening session. It's holistic. I love it.
It's about optimizing the machine in your brain that does the learning.
All right, let's get into the mechanics of listening itself. Strategy number 3. This is where we start talking about what is actually happening inside your head while you listen. We call this the art of prediction.
This is a total game changer. This is the difference between being a reactive listener and being a proactive listener.
Okay, break that down for me. Reactive versus proactive.
A B1 learner, the reactive listener,
Yeah.
sits there and waits for the words to hit their ears. They're passive. They're thinking, okay, come on, give me the next word. They hear the word apple, and then they think, oh, apple, fruit. Okay. It's slow. A C1 learner is proactive. They are predicting what is coming next before it's even said.
We use the driving analogy here, right?
Yes, it's perfect. Think about when you are driving a car. Your primary focus is on the road directly ahead, but you are peripherally aware of everything. You see a bike on the side of the road and your brain instantly predicts that bike might swerve.
Or you see a side street coming up and you predict a car might pull out.
Exactly. You aren't surprised when it happens because you are already simulating it in your mind. If the car does pull out, you don't panic. You react instantly because you are expecting it.
So how does a listener do this? Give us a practical technique.
First, use the context clues you're given to prime your brain. Let's say you are about to listen to a podcast. Look at the title. If the title is 19th Century Manufacturing, what should your brain be doing immediately?
It should be like opening the factory file. I should be expecting words like steam, coal, industry, production, workers, machines.
Exactly. You are warming up the neural pathways associated with that specific topic. So when you do hear the word steam, your brain recognizes it instantly because it was already looking for it. You aren't searching your entire vocabulary database of 50,000 words. You've narrowed the search field down to maybe 500 relevant words.
That is so smart. It's like Google autocomplete for your brain.
And you can go even deeper. You can use grammatical prediction. This is where it gets really cool.
Ooh, tell me about that.
As you're listening to a sentence unfold, your brain should be predicting the type of word that is likely to come next, based on the grammar structure.
Okay, let's try it. I'll start a sentence and you tell me what kind of word has to come next.
Ready? Ready.
The price of the new car increased to.
A number. Yeah.
Oh, wala lagi kita natin. Coba continue lagi. Natin. Or a currency. My brain is screaming dollars or pounds or percent.
Right. You aren't expecting a verb. You aren't expecting a person's name. If I said the price of the car increased to swim, your brain would just crash.
Completely. Let's do another one. The man was so tired he decided to walk into the
Noun. A place, a room, a building, the bedroom, the house, the office.
yes. If you are predicting the grammar, you are much less likely to get lost. It narrows down the possibilities. If you hear a sound that's a little ambiguous, maybe the speaker mumbles, your grammatical prediction helps you resolve what it probably was.
This is what native speakers do all the time without even thinking about it.
Constantly. It's a superpower. You are literally living in the future of the sentence.
That is exactly what fluent listening is. Living in the future.
It is.
But, and here's the problem. Sometimes the future changes. Sometimes people lie. Or they change their minds in the middle of a sentence. And that leads us perfectly into strategy number 4. Navigating nuanced traps, distractors, and real speech.
This is where the B1 learner gets absolutely crushed. This is where you lose points on exams and where you get hopelessly confused in real meetings.
Because B1 learners are essentially keyword hunters, right?
Yes, they hunt for keywords,
They hear a word, they grab it, and they assume that's the final answer.
I heard London. The answer must be London.
But real speech, and especially C1 level speech, is full of self-correction. It's messy. We call these distractors.
Give us an example of a classic distractor that would trip someone up.
Okay, imagine a speaker says, "We started our journey in London." Actually, no, wait a minute. We ended up in Manchester. The B1 learner wrote down London the second they heard it. Their pen hit the paper. They stopped listening. The C1 learner waited. They heard the hesitation in the voice. They heard the actually no. They tracked the correction.
That is so common in real life. People are always saying, I'll meet you at 5. No, wait, traffic is really bad. Let's make it 5.3.
Exactly. And if you show up at 5, you were sitting there alone for 30 minutes because you were a B1 listener. You have to track the timeline of thought. Another major trap is the use of negatives and double negatives.
Oh, these are so tricky, even for native speakers sometimes.
They can be. If I say, the food wasn't bad, what do I mean?
You mean it was good, or at least acceptable. It was okay.
Right. But a B1 learner hears the word bad, and their brain immediately triggers the negative flag. They think, oh, he didn't like the food. Or take this one, which is even more complex. I was least satisfied with the drinks.
Least satisfied. Wow. That requires you to process a whole hierarchy of satisfaction.
Precisely. It implies I was satisfied with other things. Maybe the food was great, the service was amazing, but the drinks were at the very bottom of the list. It's a complex thought structure. A B1 learner might just hear satisfied and think everything was great.
And then there are synonyms. If a question on a test asks about returning to a place, the speaker might never even say the word return.
Correct. They might say, when we come back, or on the homeward journey, upon our arrival back home. You have to listen for meaning, not just for matching words.
And one final detail in this strategy that I think is fascinating, because it's so small but so important, is precision. Spelling and plurals.
This seems minor, but it's one of the clearest signals that distinguishes the masters from the intermediates.
Give us an example.
It's the difference between hearing sugar and hearing to sugar.
Sugar is the concept.